Welcome to another cool tale. One noble warrior must lead the Roman army and save Rome from barbarian invasions and the destructive rule of a corrupt emperor. This is the tale of Ryse, son of Rome. As always, beware of spoilers and enjoy the story. In ancient Rome, Nero, the Roman emperor, pleads to the gods as he runs for his life. Arriving at the balcony of the palace, he commands his men to defend him as the Roman infantry holds its ground against a barbarian invasion. Marius Titus, the Roman general, leads the army in battle. Sometime later, Marius meets the emperor inside the palace and accompanies him to a private, safe room. At Nero's behest, Marius begins to tell his life story to the emperor. Marius begins his story as a Roman legionary who has just completed his training. He returns to the family villa in Rome to visit his father and family before he is deployed. Marius's father gives him a dagger and tells him the story of the legend of Damocles. Legend says that Damocles was a great warrior and a revered leader in a vast army. During a massive battle, his cowardly commanders abandoned him. When the slain Damocles arrived in the underworld, Nemesis, the goddess of revenge, was enraged at how the brave hero had been treated. She allows Damocles to return to the world as a vengeful spirit, a ghostly black armored centurion who would hunt them and kill each of the generals who had wronged him. To this day, many commanders carry a dagger with the image of Damocles on the scabbard. This dagger reminds them to always look after their men, or risk the black centurion returning from the dead to avenge them. The story is cut short as a sudden barbarian invasion occurs in the villa. Marius finds both his mother and sister dead and loses his father in the ensuing battle. With his dying breath, Marius's father tells him that he must save Rome. Marius is greeted by Commander Vitalian, who served alongside Marius's father. Vitalian promises Marius vengeance for the death of his family and transfers him to his legion. A few months later, Vitalian leads his legion to the rebelling province of Britannia. When they arrive near the islands, the fleet is ambushed off the coast and almost destroyed by river chains. Marius's ship is hit by a trebuchet shot, but he survives and leads an attack infiltrating the towers. He successfully destroys the towers holding the chains up. Preventing the Roman fleet from being destroyed. Led by Marius, the infantry lays siege to the walls and wins the battle. With the men chanting his name, an impressed Vitalian promotes him to the rank of centurion. However, the celebration is cut short as they receive reports of a rebellion at York. The legion marches on to York to face the heart of the barbarians' rebellion.
For York!
Upon arriving at York, Marius leads the legion in an attack against the rebel army, fighting numerous battles. He comes face to face with King Oswald and his daughter Boudica. He defeats Boudica in battle, and King Oswald surrenders to save his daughter's life. The legion brings Oswald and Boudica before the emperor's son, Basilius. He forces Oswald to reveal where the Britons have sent his brother Commodus to. After Oswald informs the Romans that Commodus was traded to the fearsome men north of Hadrian's Wall, Basilius orders the legion to march north and bring him back. Marius and the legion march beyond the wall where even Rome's elite men have failed to survive. During the campaign, the scouting party led by Marius and Vitalian is ambushed by barbarians. Vitalian is captured while Marius falls into a ravine and is separated from his legion. He regains consciousness as he is woken by a gentle voice. He is greeted by the Roman goddess Summer, but she disappears when he gets close to her. After making his way to the main barbarian camp, he finds that the barbarians are about to burn a wicker man with Vitalian inside it. After a deadly battle, Marius kills the barbarian leader. Using a ram, the men rescue Vitalian from being burned inside the giant wicker man. The two also find Commodus locked in a prison, furiously demanding to be let out. Returning to York, Marius and Vitalian participate in a peace treaty between the Romans and Britons. While initially claiming to want peace, an enraged Commodus suddenly murders Oswald, causing a breakdown in negotiations and sparking a riot. While Boudica manages to escape, Marius notices that the mark of the Emperor on the dagger Commodus used is the same mark as the one on the dagger that killed his father. He realizes that it was in fact the Emperor who was responsible for causing the earlier invasion, which resulted in the death of his family. Furthermore, the barbarians, led by a just-escaped Boudica, lay siege to York. Commodus orders the legion to defend York until he can escape. In the end, Marius decides to stay behind to buy time for the final ships to sail. After the last Roman ships flee the city, Marius is killed and thrown into a river. However, he is resurrected by the goddess Summer as she tasks him with taking on the mantle of Damocles. Back from the dead, Marius vows to avenge his family and kill Nero and his sons. Back in the present, Nero realizes that Marius is in fact Damocles, the person that Nero is hiding from in the first place. Marius continues to finish his story as he returns to a suffering Rome. Marius decides to take advantage of Emperor Nero and his son's interest in the gladiator sports, and enters the gladiatorial ludi to confront Nero and his sons directly. Crafting an iron mask to dress as the legendary Roman general Damocles, Marius meets and gains the sponsorship of Basilius. After gaining his trust, Marius slays Basilius during a private audience. In the aftermath, he sets a fortune teller free, who prophesies that Marius will be killed by Damocles, but that he would kill Damocles as well. She also tells Marius that he cannot kill Nero, because the emperor could only be killed by his own sword. Entering the Colosseum, he participates in a series of staged battles before engaging in a duel with Commodus. Despite Commodus' attempts to rig the fight in his favor, including using a poisonous gas to try and incapacitate him, Marius defeats him as well, decapitating him and promising Nero that he will be next to die.
You are next!
Marius escapes the Colosseum and meets up with Vitalian, who realizes that the masked man is Marius. Vitalian informs him that Boudica has gathered enough barbarian support to storm Rome. Eager to seek revenge for Commodus murdering her father, Vitalian agrees to help Marius defend the city and put an end to Nero's destructive rule. An epic battle between the Romans and the Britons ensues, as Marius and Vitalian successfully kill the invaders and hold their ground. Soon after, Boudica arrives and Vitalian confronts her and engages in a duel. However, Boudica would win, as Vitalian is slain before Marius could reach her. Marius assumes command of the army and orders the men to continue the battle. He confronts Boudica in single combat, and after a decisive victory, he decapitates her. However, his victory is tempered by their shared realization that they are both victims in Nero's power plays. The narrative returns to the present-day conversation between Nero and Marius. Having deduced that Damocles was Marius all along, the emperor flees further into the palace. As Marius gives chase, he is temporarily impeded by Aquilo, the god of the north wind. It is revealed that he has been aiding Nero and his sons for the entire story because he despises the notion of civilization and wants to see Rome destroyed. Marius is then mortally wounded by Nero from behind.
You mortals play your games. We gods play ours.
However, Summer intervenes, stating that even the games that the gods play have rules. Marius manages to get back to his feet and confronts Nero. He tosses both the emperor and himself off a parapet. Marius falls to his death, whilst Nero is viciously impaled on a giant sword belonging to a huge statue of himself. thus fulfilling both prophecies made to Marius earlier in the story, that Marius and Damocles would kill each other, and that Nero would perish at the hand of his own sword. Disheartened by the loss of their leader, the barbarians retreat from Rome. The gods both vanish as their little game comes to an end. Summer states that Marius would be hailed as a hero, and thanks to his efforts, Rome would go on to stand for 1,000 years and endure until the very last days of man. If you enjoyed this video, check out these other stories on the channel, and be sure to like and subscribe, and turn on notifications for new content every week. Thanks for watching, and I'll be seeing you in another cool tale.